Finance meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. Sally, please read roll call.
Wyland.
Here.
Jemlin.
Here.
Deason.
Here.
Bell. Hardinger.
Here.
Next on the agenda, approval for minutes from previous meeting, July 18th, 2022.
So moved. I'll second.
Motion's been approved. Any more in discussion? Opposed? Motion passed. Any public comments? Number 5 on the agenda, July budget status report.
So we have a nice summary there for the July. Revenues are on track, similar to last year, a little bit ahead. We collected 6.7 million this year. Last year at this time, we collected 6.4. Mobile home fees are ahead. We didn't pay Q2 till just this month, so that will lower those a little bit. Fines and forfeitures / municipal court revenue is actually doing a lot better than last year. We're at 54%, which is not too bad. Municipal services, as in previous months, are always above budget there. That includes the inspections and the services for the town. Our contributions are, we did receive a $1,100 contribution from the League of Wisconsin Municipalities Insurance, and that is for safety equipment. For the expenditures, 51% is expended compared to 67% last year. Wages are reflected through the end of July, 7/31. Attorney is running a little high. Other than that, everything is, I think, running on track. A little bit closer to where we should be compared to last year. So I'm curious to see where we'll end up. Last year we had a large surplus, so obviously running closer to actual is probably a good thing. Nothing special with our special revenues. The aquatic center is looking pretty good. 78% of the budget of the, but I know we're wrapping up, I think, the end of this week, so. Any other questions on any of the other funds?
Yeah. So we're only a few weeks out from shutting the pool down.
Yes.
We're gonna dive into that right away? I mean, no pun intended. But, I mean, we got a leak.
And I believe so. Do you know?
So Sean has been getting in contact with different contractors that would be able to locate that. I believe he's got one that will be coming shortly after the pool closes down, but I think that's been the difficulty so far, is finding a qualified firm to come and locate that leak. But the plan is to get someone here to make an assessment and understand what needs to be done so that we can get that taken care of this fall or prior to next year opening.
Right, before the frost gets in the ground. And get that ready to rock and roll for the spring?
That's the goal, yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Dave?
Yeah, there was, but it escapes me right now. I'll bring it back when I bring it back up, please. Thank you. Not at this time.
I did have a question on with the pool too. It says it's at 78% of the budget, but it's closing in 2 weeks. Is that we just haven't caught up with the numbers yet, or?
Right, well, it's through June, to the end of July, so we have August yet.
Oh, okay. All right.
Well, and So far August, I think it's been a little bit better than the
It looks
beginning, the beginning of the summer.
Yeah.
It wasn't the nicest start to the summer, so.
And we have an estimated cost of 40,000 on the pool for repairs, is that accurate?
We pretty much have a placeholder there, I would say, because until we find out what's really wrong, we just have to, want to just keep the item in, or you talking about the
I'm confused.
proposed ARPA thing, or what are we
Am I
talking?
wrong about that? I don't,
No, where did you get your number? I'm not sure where you,
from the.
From the room tax
tourism.
report.
oh, so we transfer $40,000 to the aquatic center every year for operation.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was thinking the wrong thing, I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Keith.
Yeah, from the expenditures on transfer, yes.
Yeah, so that's just a regularly scheduled transfer. Our aquatic center cannot survive without additional funds from other sources. The fees that it collects, it just isn't sustainable. So we levy $40,000 from our tax roll to support the pool, and we also transfer $40,000 from room tax to the pool.
80.
80, yeah, altogether, right?
Yes,
And
80,
then when they get the revenues from the year, they give it back to us.
no. They use the 80 for operations.
It doesn't come back.
Okay, because we're looking at a total revenue of like 164.
Yeah, that does not include the transfer yet.
But we're subsidizing like 80 and they're getting 80.
That's
So at this point, we have budgeted a loss of $7,945 for the year, so we'll have to see how close we come. Obviously, that's one of the reasons why we only have 78% of revenues, because I did not do the transfer from room tax yet. It's usually not done to the end, but I can do it for next month to give a better picture of how the aquatic center will turn out.
We still have another month yet to make
Yeah.
up that $7,000.
So we'll get more accurate numbers in a month.
Yes.
Yeah, good.
And we actually figured we'd lose a couple thousand
Well-
just in water too this year, right?
Exactly.
I think we had
There's always water.
we had additional expenditures that weren't really budgeted for. We also had insurance monies coming in to cover that. We did have insurance coverage of $1,529 in there. That's to help, and that's after our deductible. So we have $1,000 deductible, and then we get paid for anything above that. And we did submit a claim for water damage for the aquatic center. So we fixed it, we charged the aquatic center, and then we gave them the insurance funds.
You guys are talking about two different things.
Oh, thank
You're
you.
talking about the flooding, they're talking about the leak at the play structure.
Oh,
We'll get there. We'll circle back to it when we have the full numbers for the
It's
year.
all,
Thank you.
it's all water.
Yeah, it's all a wash.
So the pool,
I thought you
nothing to do
claimed
with my
the
money.
leak. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah,
I did,
Thank you, Michael.
I did remember the other thing I was gonna mention. I don't know if it's appropriate at this time or if you wanna deal with it later, but, we had quite a discussion the last time about the salt shed. So
We did.
it was like, can we take it down? Can we transfer it?
So that was under the ARPA discussion, so I think we can come back to that.
That's fine. Do it later then if that's what you want.
Is that part of our agenda item for tonight?
ARPA discussion is on the agenda.
Okay, great.
I won't remember it, you will.
I write everything down, I'm just saying.
So for the
Salt
pool,
shed, ARPA.
we're not gonna see,
I got it.
it is going to be recorded in the CIP fund for any fixes. This is solely to record the operations of the fund. So when
Let's go.
the it comes, it's not gonna be in this fund that we're looking at, Fund 22 at Weston Aquatic Center.
Right, we'll have to pull that money from somewhere else.
It'll be recorded in the capital fund. Which is 41 facilities.
We could use ARPA too for it. I thought we earmarked some of that. Okay.
But I was just giving it,
Part of this balance sheet is what you're saying though, right?
it will be part of the sheet that you're looking at.
Yeah, because it's not part of our,
Operations.
exactly. Okay. Sorry.
So then do we have a motion to acknowledge July budget status report?
Oh, please.
Yep.
I'll second it.
Okay.
All in favor?
Any more discussion? No remarks? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Number 6 on the agenda, TIF 1 and TIF 2 detailed reports for July.
Is there any questions on the reports? Probably the most interesting part is gonna be at the last end of all this detail.
Nope.
Any questions?
We have a motion to acknowledge.
Well, I'll make that motion to acknowledge going through budget report. Second.
Motion's been approved. Any more discussion? No remarks? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Number 7 on the agenda, review for the 2021 audit.
So I have attached the audit report. Our financial audit gets done in April. It is done by Kerber Rose, which is a CPA firm out of Shawano. I think a lot of our people come from Shawano. They're based throughout the Wisconsin, but Shawano's main. Our auditor is Christina Dahmer. I did talk to her and see if she'd come in, but I thought I would give you a copy of our completed financial statements and just a quick summary of the highlights. For those that normally don't look at the financial statements, they can be overwhelming, but I think the highlight page that I have summarized gives a good idea of what's in there, and maybe what you're interested in.
Appreciate you putting that together, Jessica. It's good work.
Okay, sorry.
I think that's just an acknowledgement of the report.
Well, it's an audit, so it's approved or not approved. Do we have a motion to approve the 2021 audit?
Oh,
Second.
Motion's been approved. Any more in discussion? No remarks? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passed. Number 8 on the agenda, discussion of 2023 budget timeline.
So normally we have 2 meetings a month during September and October. The budget timeline's pretty crunched. We typically like to get the budget approved before Thanksgiving week. Unfortunately, the way that the schedule falls this year, our board meeting is on Thanksgiving week. So as of right now, I'm planning on adoption that night, but we are also flexible. There is a Monday in November after that. So we could also push budget adoption to then. The sooner the better usually, because you want to be in line at the county to get your taxes run. People get very antsy, especially the snowbirds, to get their tax bills. So that's one of the reasons why we always push to get our budget adopted timely, so we're not last in line at the county to get our taxes run. So with that said, 1 meeting a month isn't enough, so we usually have 2 meetings in September and 2 meetings in October. I have the calendars in there. Does anyone have any recommendations or suggestions on dates that will or will not work? And I also have what funds that I was looking at reviewing at that time.
I think the board should reschedule work first.
So these are joint meetings. The board will be invited and we will start at 4:30. Unless I know we have some finance specific items, then we'd probably go 4:30 to 5 and then have a joint meeting 5 to 6. Typically, in the past, what we've done is finance would bring we provide a nice summary. There's like 3 different summary pages for you guys to look at, and then we provide the detail of the proposed budgets. And then you guys will review it and have any comments to that. In the past, the budget's very overwhelming to people that normally want to look at it like the night before the meeting, they come and make recommendations. There's a lot of information in that budget, and there's also like stuff that we can't touch. Utilities, for example, whatever our water sewer budget is, that we need to budget that to fund to pay that bill. And then utilities for our WPS is also another one that we have to fund to pay. That wages, Sonia and I will put all the wages in there. We'll have a proposed wage increase. And that's could be the number one discussion at the first meeting. What do we want for a CPI adjustment, or how do we want to fund wages that year with any proposed increases? So that was normally a topic that we bring up, and in the past it hasn't been discussed yet, but I'm hoping this year there will be a lot of discussion. I'm hoping for discussion from the committee and the board. We haven't always had it, but we've got a new board and new committee, a lot of new people this year. And I'm hoping for discussion, and always feel free to ask questions. So we'll be sending you out spreadsheets, and not necessarily the Excel, but we'll be sending you the PDFs. So take a look at that. And if you really don't like the way that we're presenting it, you've got to let us know. I'll have a nice PowerPoint to give the highlights at our meetings, which will not be in your packet. The PowerPoint will be on the screen, and then you'll have the summaries and then the detail in your packet. So, other than that, do you have any questions or expectations that you want to share with us?
Well, we had talked about summarizing.
Oh, the TIF.
Yeah,
Yes.
because if you print out the finance committee, I mean, this is what you're looking at. Which, and then it comes 3 days before our meeting. So I'm hoping we can filter this out a little bit.
So it's
Yeah.
a lot of what you have in that packet is the financial statements. I could have sent us, do you want separate links? It's to not have such a large packet, we could do that. So
Send you the Reader's Digest first. I mean, she
There's
can do that.
There's, I guess what's in here that we don't really need is, payroll, right?
she's specifically referring to the TIF reports. The last finance committee specifically requested full detail of all the TIF.
Yeah.
For those TIF accounts, the detail including payroll. What I said to Jamie, I said we can not include those payroll accounts. The payroll does not change every month. The allocations for the employees in the TIF is the same every month. That is approved through the budget process of what gets allocated to the TIFs. It's part of the process. And after that, the budget is approved, that doesn't change, so.
I mean, what do you have? You got like 2 months where you have 3 payrolls instead of 2, something like that?
Yes, July had 3 payrolls, which probably made that payroll section extra long.
Pretty standard.
I think it's gonna be, and I'm sorry, Keith, I didn't get through all the dates that you sent in your email as far as the advisors regarding the strategic plan and how that's gonna come into.
So the only dates here that really would be potentially conflict, I guess, we have November 14th is a regular plan commission meeting date. So,
November 14th?
yeah,
Oh, I got nothing. Oh, if you'd want to. Okay.
that's just a contingency for a meeting that time, right? And then depending on what the availability of board members are, the 28th of November then was a possibility for this, what's called the strategic initiatives, the second round of talking about the strategy.
Where's that at?
Actually, the last meeting, that would have been, first, there would have been one choice would have been the week, the 28th or 29th of November. The other dates that are indicated would be December 8th or 9th.
What kind of position would that put you in? Being December 8th or 9th?
No, that would be for the strategic plan stuff. We would adjust. The budget's gonna have to take precedence as far as adoption, I would say, and timelines.
And I don't know how you historically have presented this, Jessica, but something that would be helpful for me is to have a very brief summary like you just did for the departments in 2020, 21, 22, and then what we're looking to propose for their budget for 23.
Yep.
And then an outline from Michael, what your projects that you're forecasting for 23, any large projects that we have, a dollar amount associated with it. So that, and just, this is a snapshot. We're talking a page or two, departments, where the money was last year, where the money is this year, what we're looking to give them next year. Aside from just the, like you said, the payroll review as far as the increase in any employees or their positions or any bonuses that we're looking to have or to hand out by the end of the year. But for me, that would be the simplest way for me to take a look at that and see where we're at money-wise and what projects, if we need to, if we're gonna be running over with that we might have to consider cutting. And I think by that time too, we'll have a really good idea, obviously, what we're gonna have to expend on the Kennedy Park. We'll have that expense, or we should have that expense, a good idea by November, December, I would hope. Depending on-
And the municipal center too.
Yep.
Where
Yep.
we're gonna stack up there,
Yep.
because there's just gonna be some stuff.
Yeah.
There just is.
Yeah, and I think it's wise not to, obviously, we haven't spent much of that ARPA fund, and I think it's a good thing, because I think we're gonna have to.
That's gone, in my opinion. That's-
Yeah, I hope
between-
not.
Between the pool and the municipal center,
Yeah.
that's gone, in my opinion.
I'm an optimist, so I'm holding out hope.
I hope I'm wrong, and I hope you're right.
I don't. But yeah, I think that'll help. Does that make sense, Jessica? Just to get an idea from the departments, is what they spent last year, is what they spent this year.
We have a good summaries already.
I know, I've seen it. You did, I've seen something like that from you before, and that's just gonna be a lot easier, I think, that whole budget process.
I think you should share that information with the whole committee. I would like to see it personally.
Yeah,
That's in
It's
the
the
budget
request.
presentations.
Yeah,
Yeah, but that snapshot of a page or two of just breaking that all down and, the Reader's Digest version, so to speak.
Yeah, we have some pretty good spreadsheets already prepared that really show this year, last year by department and what the significant changes are.
Mhm.
We'll get that prepared once we get everything back.
thank you, Jessica.
I don't know if you looked further down, I do have a preliminary increase for our levy. At this point, we're looking at 103,256 for our increase for the levy, not including debt service. So in our levy limit work paper, which I kind of have shown right here, the state has a formula that you have to follow to determine how much you can increase your levy. And I've plugged in our numbers, not including the debt service, and it's 103,256. That's the max we can increase our operating levy. We did receive a net new construction of 1.6 this year, which was really exciting. Last year, we only had a 0.82 net new construction. I think that the increase of 103 is gonna be impossible. We're hoping for additional transportation aid, hoping for at least a good $50,000 there, maybe more, up to 100, which could help us fund additional areas. In the past, I've always been very leery of using transportation aid for operations. I think you should be too, but obviously when push comes to shove, any money that we receive in, we may want to use for general operations. We'll have to see. The police union has an approved contract. Their increase was 6% for the union wages. That total increase is over $200,000 annually for our police wages. Obviously, that doesn't necessarily jive with our 103 levy increase. So that's where in the future we'll have to consider, and where the strategic plan will be very helpful to see what we can do going
I'm
forward.
gonna ask her, I got all these questions.
I'm ready.
Yeah, Okay.
Any other questions on the budget? Comments?
I don't think we have to.
Well, it says approved.
No? This is a preliminary budget. So we should be.
Do we need a motion to approve?
Do we need a motion? I don't think this is just a,
No, but nobody gave any feedback. Are you fine with 2 a month? Is that okay if the first one's the week of Labor Day?
Oh,
Should I avoid Labor Day week? Guess that's what I can send out doodle polls maybe. I mean, I'm not sure.
yeah, those are always helpful.
But I need to know an idea of what dates to put on them.
For the general fund review?
Yeah,
Okay.
because obviously Monday before our regular meeting is planning. And I don't think we're gonna be ready by next 2 weeks, August 29th. I don't think it'd be kind of difficult to have together. So unless we want to do a different day on the week of the 12th, possibly look at that.
the 12th, is- yeah. Right. Fine with that.
Like,
Of September,
Yeah.
that's fine. I think it's fine with me.
Dave, 12th of September?
no, it can't be the 12th, is it the week of the 12th? Because
Okay.
planning commission is on the 12th along with public works, so that day is off. It's
Oh,
out.
This is not on here. I got it. So you're talking about the 6th of September?
I'm talking the 6th to the 10th, or 6th through the 9th, or the 13th through the 17th, if we want to have a different day other than the 6th.
I can do the 16th,
I'm gonna check.
other than that, I have
I gotta find out what. I'm on.
16th of September?
the Friday, sorry.
Oh. Oh, oh,
Oh, it starts at 4:30 though, right? Or can we do 6? 6 on Friday, the 16th?
Friday?
Yeah.
anybody do in the morning?
You guys typically can't do it.
I'm
in the
not
morning.
retired.
I forgot.
Whatever works for the.
I forgot, I'm sorry.
I'm trying to pull, hold on a second, I can pull it up here.
Damn.
I mean, can we meet on a Saturday? I mean, it's, no?
No.
I'm looking at the calendar right now.
That same question will be there for some of these strategic planning sections.
Archery hunting opens on the 17th, by the way, if anybody cares.
Retired, archery, what's going on here?
So what, Jamie, you're thinking the 16th?
Yeah,
I think I can do the 16th. If we want to pencil, Dave?
16th.
The 16th at what, 4:30?
I'm good every day except Friday.
That's right, you guys are retired. Jamie, how about 16th? 5:30?
16th is a Friday.
That's a Friday night for you guys, so I mean, I don't,
The weekend,
yeah, it's basically,
Whatever fits in.
the day before archery season. for crying out loud.
what about a Wednesday? You can't,
I'm booked that whole week except for Friday.
what about the following week?
What about the week before?
Yeah, we got Labor Day that week, but anytime after that, the 6th, 7th, 8th, somewhere in there? 6th, 7th, 8th? How about you, Jim? 6th, 7th, 8th, September?
I don't have my schedule there. I'm just winging it. Maybe,
We can send out an email.
Can we try the 6th? Just, can we pencil in for the
Whatever
6th?
you guys want, I'm probably not gonna make it.
I mean,
I don't get back from Glacier National Park till the 12th.
We need how many do we need for a
We need a
quorum?
quorum.
4?
It doesn't matter, we also have the board.
Oh, well,
We will, yeah.
there you go.
So obviously it's more than the group here that we need to schedule it, so we'll just send out an email and see if we can get quorum.
Thank you, Jessica.
thank you. Okay, so number 9, discussion and possible recommendations of ARPA funds.
We had last meeting, we had a joint meeting with the trustees. And being part of the ARPA fund discussion, there was a possibility of 3 $10,000 studies for 3 different parks. And of those 3, only one, Kennedy Park, seemed to generate any immediate interest. And I know you had said that there was some problems with the bathrooms. Mark had mentioned the
A dome?
extensive uses that this gets. And I was just wondering, I don't think we really need to wait until all the ARPA funds are designated. I would think, what are the opinions of the others here as far as just go ahead with the $10,000 for the Kennedy Park study based on the parent numbers of people that had positive feelings about that. I don't think we should wait. I'd like to see that go ahead right away and be authorized, recommend to the board that that thing be set up and the study be started.
So Keith, you had a comment?
He's got
So the takeaway that we had from staff based on input at the board meeting was that we wanted to get more firm numbers on these things. So right now there is a request for proposals that's been put out for the update of the comprehensive outdoor recreation plan and master plan studies for Kennedy Park and Wyhaska Park. So this will commit us to nothing. It will just get us a sense of what the costs are for any of the 3, all the 3. And then from there, we would bring it back for, possible recommendation on what to move forward with. And that's similar to some other items that were on that list. The security cameras for the parks, that's a work in progress by Nate. He has spoken and worked with EMPD on determining what the proper setup is there, talking with providers on that.
When do you expect the numbers to come back?
I don't know that he had a,
The RFPs are due at the end of August.
for
The end of August?
the security.
Oh, for the security camera, that was for the parks. I guess I don't know if it's security camera.
Sean? Chief? Nope, not over here. Sorry.
That has to be something then for a September meeting.
So yeah, I guess
We have
that's how
some
we're
numbers.
proceeding. We're trying to get numbers as, timely as we can. Sometimes these things do take time to get from possible providers, so. I don't think we have a time window that we can work within to spend these funds. What is it, 2026 is the final deadline, so it's not like we're under the crunch in terms of determining the final fate. We had talked about some other things related to some of the projects.
out there, we can.
Yeah, can we put that on the agenda for next month is review whatever RFPs that, Sean was getting them, right?
Yep.
Barb, you overseeing that, aren't you?
Yeah, sort of. I mean, we meet as a joint with the public works, so
Right.
there isn't, they haven't had a lot of discussion on that other than they're out there getting it.
I guess I have a question. So the security things isn't wrapped through the parks, your commission, that's actually wrapped through the board. Is that right? Because that needs board approval because it's ARPA funds?
Well, it's art fund, so it'll need board approval.
Right.
And the park.
But that would be the case in either.
Pardon?
That would be the case for any of them.
Yeah,
ARPA money that.
Yeah,
but as far as the parks development plan or the RFP, that's going through your commission or committee, right?
well, it's going through, Keith or whatever first. And then
Yeah.
it comes around.
Well, Sean and Keith, and then they're bringing it to you?
Yeah,
Okay.
and the public works.
And Michael? Okay.
Okay. So how do we move forward on that?
Can we meet after they do?
I think it's more or less a status report for now. We don't necessarily have, I know that, again, there's a desire to get firmer numbers and we're for us to get those, we gotta get these proposals. So again, we were trying to get some sense of, the placeholders, what will be comfortable with potentially funding.
Right.
And I don't know that, there's a total agreement among the trustees yet on where these funds might be used. So I think we're kind of taking it a step at a time that way.
That help, Dave? So we're gonna have to circle back to it once we get the RFPs back, so we have an idea what it's gonna cost.
And any other specifics of the, the larger items that we had noted in the prior list? I guess we didn't include that this time, we'll have to include that next time.
Well, I know that the hot ticket item were Kennedy Park, the pool. We don't know what that's gonna cost.
Right, so again, it can't be evaluated until it's
Yeah.
closed and then we'll get a better number on what, or a better handle on what that number is.
We're thinking, we'll have an idea on the park sometime in September, hopefully.
Our request for,
I'm sorry, the aquatic center,
I have to talk to Sean.
it's right outside the door.
He'll be here at the board meeting,
Yeah.
probably give a better idea what the schedule is for getting somebody here to evaluate the leak.
Sorry, Jenny.
Nate, I think, has a comment that he might be able to contribute to for the security cameras.
Is he, but,
He's online.
oh, he is?
Yeah, sorry, I just got on for the board meeting as well. I briefly touched on my report for the board. After initial meetings with New Era, who has bought out RMM, we're still in the phase of accumulating information as far as what might work. Aquatic Center is pretty easy to nail down on what we need to do. Kennedy Park, fairly easy. The company New Era RMM, who we were working with, works with networked cameras. We're dealing with a lot of remote locations now. So we're bringing in then some other players to talk about some of those locations that might have a better idea of how to do that. So I would hope to have some numbers by September, but we've had to bring in some extra people to better understand some of those areas. If that makes sense.
Can I,
Would it be feasible if we don't get all of our answers, all of our questions answered by the middle of October? The pool, that's still gonna be something that would be preparable by the dead of
budget?
I would think we'd have some general numbers for sure. We're looking at some areas where we don't have.
We've televised that, right?
You guys are talking about two different things
Two
again.
different items being discussed here. Nita's talking about security cameras for the parks.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Project. The other one would be hearing the leak underneath.
Okay.
So that's a different item altogether.
Yep, thank
We
you.
need to get a budget on that and I don't know what the frost situation is underneath there, how that works, during the year. I think normally that pool is filled with water during the winter.
Yeah, I don't think they drain it.
No, not completely.
No.
Okay, well, we will come back and revisit.
Yeah, my
this.
apologies for maybe confusing that a little bit more.
That's
I
okay.
was just touching on the surveillance system.
There was the question about the salt shed, previously in this meeting.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
Dave.
thank you.
I guess so. There currently are three different options being bid for the salt shed. One is moving our current one is a new, essentially timber building, and one's more of a concrete structure, so. They're currently out for bid. I believe those are also due around the end of the month, first week of September.
End of this month or the first part of September?
Yeah, so it's either the end of August or, it's like somewhere within that last week of August, September.
Okay.
I don't have the exact date in my head right now.
Thank you.
Yep.
So how do we move forward?
Nothing.
Okay. Future items, next meeting date, Tuesday, September sixth, 2022 at 4:30. Topics for future meetings, vendor addition, procedure checklist, policy reviews. Remarks from staff?
I will not be available on September 6th.
Remarks from committee members? Any announcements?
Is that September 6th, is that a budget meeting? Or what? Is
Yeah,
that
the
joint?
question mark is because my goal is to try to get most people together that I can on the week
Okay,
of September 6th.
otherwise we'll still be on the third Monday too, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Any other remarks?
Motion to adjourn the finance meeting.
Like the motion to adjourn?
Second?
Dave said it.
Oh, I'm sorry. Motion's been approved. Any more discussion? No remarks. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion passed. This meeting is now adjourned.